Hello and welcome to Non Sequitur News for July 15th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 197. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to Non Sequitur News.
And I didn't do it again. Doggone it. I'm going to do it live. Why not? Why not? I'm just going to do it live. How about that?
That's all visible.
No. Anyway, so hold on one second. We're doing it live, folks. This is how the sausage is made. It's not only you. All right, 1 second. It's just how it's made, folks. Our production value is through the roof. I don't know what's going to come out of this when I actually hit enter, but that's okay. So the first article that we're going to talk about today is Highway to Hell. 1.4 million year old human activity, faked Picasso paintings, retro PC emulator, and I feel old. What's up with this Paramount logo that everybody's talking about? 65,000 coffee cups go missing. Net pausality. Am I right? About another object stolen from the British Museum. A tunnel under the surface of the moon. Aliens. And sorry, we can't watch it, says NSA. Everything's powered by ohmTown.com. I'm not being kept out of trouble by the sentient AI from the future, whose only job is to...
It's impossible to do that.
All right, folks. Yeah, you're the only one that can see that. Anywho, want to get into the show?
I think we should.
Yeah, I can't even refresh this page because it's all kinds of wacky. But we're going to get on the Highway to Hell. It's in the mobile channel. Highway to Hell.
Will AC/DC you be playing?
My AC/DC cover band. I don't know. I was going to do something electronic, but my brain didn't work fast enough. So, Highway to Hell. Plan for Germany's biggest motorway sparks anger. A proposal to create Germany's biggest motorway has sparked a backlash, with critics fearful the monstrosity will increase climate-damaging emissions, worsen noise pollution, and harm biodiverse habitats. Dun, dun, dun. That's stunned silence of the sentient
is this
AI.
kind of like a NIMBY issue, or
it's already been done,
more?
Right? Yeah. Look, this is good enough. We don't keep growing anymore. We're done here. Okay. We're just gonna sit in traffic like San Diego or Los Angeles or San Francisco. Or San Francisco. But not Wyoming. You know why there isn't that much of a problem in Wyoming? Per capita car accidents. Sam Reeves over at phys.org put the article together. By the way, if you go and look in ohmTown, you'll find an article related to the number of accidents.
The 10 most dangerous states or something like that.
In Wyoming. The most dangerous on the road, but with the fewest number of people in the state, and maybe that's why.
It's kind of a weird statistic, though.
Yeah. So a proposal to create Germany's biggest motorway has sparked backlash. Oh, the article, again, is by Sam Reeves over at phys.org. The recommendation suggests widening a section of the A5 outside the western city of Frankfurt to 10 lanes at an estimated cost of $1.1 billion, or euros, 1.2 billion US freedom bucks, as it were. While
I
supporters...
think that's where the objection would be.
What's that? That it's 1.1 billion euro? Yeah, well, They say that it's necessary to cope with expected increases in traffic on what is already one of Germany's busiest stretches of motorway. It has touched a nerve amid mounting concerns about the climate crisis because, nobody wants to get on the road because there's too much traffic. No, that's not what's going to happen.
Isn't Germany, though, known for its driving?
Well, yeah, I mean, not really known for its driving. I mean, people drive like the Autobahn and stuff like that. But that's just like that's what it's. People know about the Autobahn, but every city has busy areas and not busy areas. But expanding this, keeping it narrow means that more cars are on the road for a longer period of time, exuding exhaust perpetually for longer periods of time, right? So if you widen it, more people can get to their destinations faster and turn off their freaking car. That's my argument. Will more people get on the road? No. Why? Because there are a finite number of vehicles on the road. You want to get people off the road, mandate work from home, mandate walking communities.
True, and the number of people that live in any given city is the number of people that live in any given city, right? But commuters don't suddenly double because the road has more lanes.
Right. And when you live in Frankfurt and have to drive to Stuttgart or whatever, then you're going to have a freaking commute, for crying out loud. And no matter how many lanes there are, you're going to have people driving. If you want to get them off the road, encourage telework, encourage micro communities that have everything that a person needs so that they stay home or walk to the shop. But that's not what
that's too progressive. And I'm saying that because in the US, we don't seem to be going in that direction either.
No, we're giving away Cybertrucks as part of a contest with millionaires. Already jammed at busy times, the A5 is set to get even more crowded with some 200,000 cars expected on the road daily by 2030, according to the study. But that isn't the only thing that's going to stop that kind of growth. Is eliminating the need to travel on it daily, regularly, always, just to get stuff done. Oh, I'm trying to be.
Wouldn't it be interesting if a country mandated something like all companies have to have,
50%,
X number of days of telework or whatever? Yes.
Yeah. If not longer. I mean, what is the freaking point? This old Luddite mentality of the only way I can make sure that somebody does their job is if their butt is in the seat and I'm haunting them like one of the ghosts of Christmas. Whatever. Says it's just madness. You would not want to live there anymore, says 53-year-old who then said, "Get off my lawn," and then sprayed the reporter with a garden hose. Not insurmountable. The study says that there's no insurmountable environmental obstacles to widening the motorway. In its conclusion, it finds that widening the section of the motorway to 10 lanes is the only option examined that would achieve sufficient capacity to cope with expected increases in traffic. But regardless, if it descends from 10 to 5 to 2, you're going to have a bottleneck and everything is going to be backed up anyway. It's just going to be a wider bottleneck.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I mean, the volume is going to be the volume unless there's, like you said, some change that's external to driving.
Yep. That's it. Let's move. We're going to take an off-ramp. Oh, wait. What did they call it? Oh, what is the off-ramp called? Oh my goodness. I used to live there and I don't even remember it now. What off-ramp means. Like exit. Oh gosh. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move. So the next article is over in Technology Today. Oh, and
Langenscheidt.
Watch your language.
Hopefully I didn't say something unintended.
So if you hit !NSN, it will post all of the articles that we're going to be talking about. No. No, that's the wrong. What the heck? Hold on a second. That. Hold on a second. I grabbed the wrong articles. Oh, okay. So this is really how we do
Maybe
it
that
here.
other article really wanted to be in the show today.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so let me fix that. Oh my goodness! Wow, what a bonehead move. Okay, I'm gonna clear the chat, and then we'll do it again. So the exclamation point NSN will pull up the correct links now. If you want to get the podcast, you hit exclamation point pod. If you want the show notes, you hit exclamation point show notes. And that'll give you the commands for all of the shows. We have 7 podcasts too. Those are weekly shows that are done on the weekend. Well, there's 6 podcasts that are done on the weekend. There's a 7th one, which is this show called NSN, or Non Sequitur News, that is every day. Man. Clear as mud.
1 daily, 6 weekly.
I mean, polished turd right there. Anyway, save yourself, Marawatt. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream and start over, and we're just going to delete the old one, even though we're 12 minutes into the show.
Well, if we're going to do it, we need to do it sooner rather than later.
Should have bailed a whole lot sooner. Anyway, 1.4 million year old human activity unearthed at, I don't know if it's Orcs or Orses. Orses quicksand trap. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but anyway, located at Fuente Nueva 3. I don't know why they didn't say tres. This early Pleistocene archaeological site hosts some of the oldest traces of human habitation in Western Europe. 1.4 million. It's when we were riding the
way
dinosaurs.
Beyond what we thought it was?
We used to ride these huge rocks across the plains along with dinosaurs back in the day. University of Malaga put this article together. I have not heard of University of Malaga, but that's okay. It's over at scitechdaily.com. The site is one of the deposits of Orce or Orca or Orce. I don't know. It's ORCE that contains some of the earliest evidence of human presence in Western Europe, consisting of lithic assemblages, that is, stones carved by our ancestors, that is dated to 1,400,000 years ago. Yeah,
What?
that's stunned silence. So I don't quite get this, because up until this article, I've never heard of anything going back further than 25,000 years ago. This may be referring to bipedal human, ancient humans, when we were more like hominids, right? Like just upright, barely walking around humans.
I mean, we're talking thousands. This is a million.
But this is actually, yeah, exactly. And this is actually
so
saying,
even if it's accounting for that, it's still really astounding.
Stones carved by our ancestors dating to 1.4 million years, 1.4 million years ago. It says, likewise, this archaeological site preserves manuports, unmodified stones used as percussion tools to fracture bones, access the marrow, and perhaps used as throwing weapons to scare away hyenas. The abundant fossils of large mammals, some of which preserve anthropogenic marks related to skinning, butchering, and marrow processing, and also bones that have tooth marks caused by scavenging carnivores. So the results of this pioneering research have recently been published in the Iberian Journal of Geology. How is this not like an anthropological study, right?
Well, it seems like it probably will become one, right? Like they're going to look at this and go, oh, we need another type of study here, right?
Yeah, I find it shocking that it's just kind of thrown out there. I don't know of anything else that's ever mentioned that far back as being human anthropogenic modifications to rock or some type of evidence of human habitation.
No, I just saw something that was like 3000 to 4000 BC, for example, just from a quick search.
Yeah, and there's
that wasn't about tools, but just about people.
Yeah, and this is back. It says, what do they refer to it as? Mega herbivores were trapped due to the elevated weight of their limbs. This is the quicksand trap wherein this stuff was apparently discovered. The new findings discovered by UMA researchers represents a very important milestone to gain more knowledge about the subsistence strategies of our ancestors, the first Europeans, and their competition with the large carrion hyenas for access to these meat resources, since it is the first time a natural trap with these characteristics has been described in a fossil deposit of special interest to human evolution.
On Tuesday in Spain.
Let's keep going.
No, this is really a big discovery.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that I'm going to end up having to do a little bit more rooting around to see what the real context is. I mean, like all of these things, we have a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience, a little bit of anecdote that's related to this.
A little bit of rock and roll.
A little bit country. So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. A curator says that she faked Picasso paintings that had hung on the walls for more than 3 years in an Australian museum. I mean, as long as it's not the British Museum. Oh, wait. Hold on. Tasmanian Museum of Old and New Art seemingly hung fake Pablo Picasso paintings in an exhibition. This is pretty interesting. Based on the name of the museum, I think it's interesting because Old and New Museum of Art. So they took old art, made it new, hung it on the wall. Rebecca Roman over at businessinsider.com put the article together. Oh my gosh, cover yourself. Jeepers creepers. So Kersha Michelle, the museum's curator, said that she made the paintings herself. Reactions to the stunt have been mixed, with some labeling it brilliant and others saying that she's taken people for fools. But if you're calling it Picasso's paintings...
That's where the problem is, right? Like if she was hanging these, although I have a problem with the curator putting their own art in there, but if she's hanging the paintings and just calling them like new paintings or something, fine, but not Picasso.
Yeah. The paintings had been at the center of the gender battle that broke out after a man from the Australian state of New South Wales took legal action against the gallery after being refused entry to the museum's Ladies' Lounge exhibition. Kersha Cashel, the museum's curator, previously told Guardian Australia that the men's experience of rejection is the artwork and that she was absolutely delighted that the case had gone to court. Wow.
I wonder if she said that after the case was done.
Yeah, really. Was it their money?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, everybody else might not have been delighted about that, but okay.
After a court ruled that the exhibition violated the state's Anti-Discrimination Act and that persons who do not identify as ladies must be allowed entry, Cashel made headlines after she moved several of the supposed Picassos, which had hung in the exhibition for more than 3 years, to a female toilet cubicle.
Wow, I mean, there is some motivation here.
So Cashel wrote, apparently, I knew of a number of Picasso paintings I could borrow from friends, but none of them were green, and I wished for the lounge to be monochrome. I also had time working against me, not to mention the cost of insuring a Picasso, exorbitant. She then said that she eventually decided to make the paintings with her own hands, and that the perfectly shellacked hands of my manicurist's niece, who is far more competent in pen and ink and thus assisted with the etching.
Nice. She's even accusing her niece of criminal activity now.
Yeah, and fraud. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't quite get it. It was the show's mixed reactions of brilliant and brave, trying to take people for fools. But again, she's passing it off as something that it's not. The forgery prompted a reevaluation of other works displayed in the ladies' lounge, and Cashel revealed that some of the other items were also not genuine. How is this
Yeah,
not
that's
fraud?
just really outrageous.
Yeah. So unless the museum itself was complicit in the manipulation, and nobody paid to see those works, but I still think it's fraud because they're claiming that it's Picasso's works.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of problems here. And I suspect that while museums, I think, are often interested in doing exhibits in new ways and everything, I don't think they're going to be interested in calling it a Picasso. Like, it'd be one thing if they hung it and it looked like a Picasso and people thought it was Picasso and that was somehow part of the experience, but labeling it, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, there you go. The labeling it. And if somebody said, hey, is that a Picasso? Saying it's a Picasso means that you are consciously defrauding whoever it is that is requesting real information, and you're a freaking art museum.
Exactly. Interestingly, I'm not a Picasso expert, but I look at that and I think it kind of looks like Picasso style, but it doesn't necessarily look like Picasso. But maybe I'm way off.
I'd have to see closer up images. If it's signed Picasso, then it's a forgery. Like,
oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going though. The next article is over in Technology Today. There's finally a retro PC emulator on the App Store, and I'm feeling old. So the retro PC game emulator UTM-SE is now available in the App Store for iPhone, iPad, and Apple Vision Pro, marking the first time Apple has allowed a PC emulator for iOS onto its marketplace, per The Verge. We actually aggregated this from Engadget. Well, Engadget provided it via their distribution. And UTM-SE will let you run classic PC games, but you'll first need to either download a pre-built virtual machine, several of which UTM offers for free on its website, or you can create your own from scratch. That is the only way I'd run a pre-built virtual machine, is if I make my own. Unless I never have it locally, it's never integrated into any other infrastructure. I trust no one. Virtualization on somebody else's machine means that everything you're doing is on somebody else's machine. So, and in this spate of recent hacks, you might want to take a gander at your cloud account. UTM-SE is now on the App Store and soon headed to the Alt Store, PAL. So Cheyenne McDonald over at Engadget.com put the article together. And apparently all it is a PC emulator. The magic here is that iOS devices are powerful enough to run a PC emulator. I don't know what the power would be. It says previously rejected UTM-SE, but now it's available. The team behind the app shared on the website formerly known as Twitter that it was able to move forward with its JIT, just-in-timeless, I guess, or is that what it is? I don't know if that's actual. It's not, is it?
I don't think so.
Hold on a second. It's the. I knew that it had to do with JavaScript, but yeah, just-in-time compiling. So it's basically running a virtual machine, and it acts as the intermediary between the front end of iOS and the metal on the Apple device. Interesting. So it's basically running, yeah, kind of in a browser kind of situation.
Oh, okay. So what could you use this for?
Running a PC on an Apple device.
Like any function, including gaming?
As long as it doesn't overwhelm the amount of RAM necessary, the amount of processor necessary. Yeah. So you're not going to be playing high-end games because you don't have the interface to the GPU. You don't have enough processor power overall to run the virtual machine on the iOS device, unless it's really lightweight, which I don't know. If you try and what, I'm curious what the virtual machine is allowed. PC emulator. So does it say anywhere? No, and they move on to a different article. So yeah, it just says supports VGA mode, graphics, terminal, classic software, old school games. That's what it allow you to do. Retro PC emulator. So yeah, old games. Looks like Doom. The original Doom.
Oh no.
The 80s.
That is old school graphics, at least.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving though. Yeah, I think so. I use Arc as the browser, and it's weighing down because I haven't rebooted in quite some time. So whatever goes on with Arc, whatever. Anyway, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Hopefully, this new Paramount logo won't stick around for long. I have not even seen it.
I haven't either, but it must be horrendous based on this headline.
The caption under the image says this probably isn't Paramount's new logo. So it says, if you didn't know, Paramount Global is set to merge with Skydance. This logo, included in the recent investor presentation, would like to share an important update. Under its traditional mountain and stars, it shouts Paramount, using the all-cap styling and arched text of the Skydance logo instead of a more gently whispered Paramount. Let's see what this thing looks like. You know,
so there's Paramount.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And the whole
right, that
arching
part is original, right at the top.
Yeah, and apparently Skydance has that styling.
Oh, okay.
So the logo included in the investor materials for the proposed Paramount merger with Skydance screams corporate synergy. Wes Davis put the article together over at TheVerge.com, and to me, this looks more like what you would see on like a hoodie from high school or college.
Oh, right. Okay.
For their
yeah, I can
sports
see
team,
that.
right? It's one of those kind of, because I was, never mind. It doesn't matter what I was. But anyway, under its traditional mountains and stars, it shouts Paramount, using the all cap styling and arched text of the Skydance logo instead of the more gently whispered Paramount. It says it's
so
not
does
good.
it show the original?
No. So Skydance is what it used to look like. They changed it to Paramount, and Paramount uses that. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I prefer the original.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, this is so like nondescript. Why does it align with Paramount? That kind of thing. You'd have to look into the history as to why it's the stars and the mountain and whatever else you're trying to do here. Like, what is the context of Paramount in that mountain? You'd have to look into it, right? So with any luck, also with the Warner Brothers Discovery logo that eventually popped up in 2022, it won't be nearly as bad. Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers Discovery, the stuff that dreams are made of, with the graphic announcing Warner Brothers Discovery's new name left, was bad, but the eventual logo, right, was more sensible, which this is not just sensible, this is clinical. This is basically stating the facts that Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, and they're keeping the Warner Brothers logo. Yeah, I don't. Doesn't make a difference.
Why
to
not
me.
just make a new logo or stick with the original, right? If they're just merging together.
Yeah. Yep. So this is somebody's opinion about the material and our opinion about their opinion and our opinion about the material itself. To me, it looks like a sports jersey. You know?
Yeah, it does.
Hey, let's keep going. We're gonna truck through today's articles, it seems. This is the one that I am absolutely upset about. It's over in 4-wheel tech, but 65,000 coffee mugs have gone missing from Tesla's German gigafactory that has just 12,000 workers. Maybe every single one of them has 6 friends or 5 friends.
Or took a bunch and tried to sell them on eBay or something.
Tesla's German gigafactory has a giga coffee mug problem. Has been a source of controversy for an array of reasons in recent years, apparently, but the latest news is perhaps the most outrageous, egregious, bald-faced form of disrespect to the electric car titan. This is the article, not me. I'm upset, but I'm seething inside. But this is a news show, and so I'm controlling myself. I'm controlling my rage. Nothing is in reach that I can throw. Anyway, 65,000 coffee mugs.
You need a rage room.
I need a rage. Oh, that would be cool. I could make that behind me a rage room. See, there's a green screen here. I'll chop my finger off. Anyway, wow, that in the transcript over on YouTube is going to cause problems. I'm chopping my finger off.
No, just in the view of the screen.
All right. 65,000 coffee mugs have inexplicably gone missing, according to German publication DW, doing the hard-hitting journalism. Logan Carter over at jalopnik.com put the article together. The deck statement says the plant manager threatened to stop providing silverware if the mug robberies don't stop. What? You take 1 or 2 every other day for weeks at a time, you end up with 65,000 coffee mugs missing. You know,
it's a bit much. I mean, what is so special about these mugs?
It's kind of like what goes on here in the mayoral mansion. We only use silverware and plates one time. What are we, animals? Getting our hands dirty washing stuff? What? Give me a break. Nobody does that around here. Please. Anyway, Tesla successfully mugged off German gigafactory employees when they tried to unionize under the local union IG Metall, I guess it is. That's a weird term, mugged off, I guess.
They're trying to play on the coffee mugs.
Them off, yeah. So if all 65,000 mugs were stolen, that equates to about 77 daily mug thefts. Theurage said he's getting tired of approving orders for more mugs and threatening to stop providing cutlery in the factory break rooms if the bloodthirsty mug thieves don't cut it out.
Do you think that the mug thefts started after some of these other issues occurred?
You know, if you don't allow us to unionize, we're going to take all of your coffee mugs. Let's see something real quick. Tesla, Germany, coffee mug. Oh, let's see. There's only 59 results. So unless they're dropping them really carefully, and it's just Tesla matte black mugs, white and black, not specific to Germany. So who knows? So yeah, I don't think that they're on eBay. They're probably making up the bulk of what's being thrown in somebody's personal rage room.
Oh, that could be it. They should look in that town for a rage room.
There you go. Polizei, you know what to do. Let's make sure that the billionaire the billionaire doesn't have to foot the bill for thousands of coffee mugs. Ready to go on?
I'm just curious if they provide coffee or just the mugs.
The way I feel about it, they probably charge like $2.50 for the little pod.
Oh, they might.
They don't even have. You have to bring in your own water too. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Sequitur News. Appeals Court halts return of net neutrality. You might harken back to a bygone age, just a couple of months ago, when Mayor Watt was talking about the fact that he gives talks about net neutrality and other things, technology related, science, technology, and society related, merged together in long-winded diatribes about science, technology, and society. Well, and how things are all interconnected. Well, I was astonished because I was actually telling people net neutrality is not getting clawed back unless society shifts entirely. And lo and behold, within 4 years, that's exactly what happened. Net neutrality clawed its way back into the forefront and almost became, again, the status quo. Nobody's allowed to dick around with anybody's data as it's traversing a network, right? So you don't mess around with it. Well, its latest setback is a long back and forth on net neutrality, the principle that internet service providers should not be able to block or throttle internet traffic in a discriminatory manner. Well, discriminatory is a very highly subjective matter.
That's true. And there's probably a lot of loopholes around that.
Describe discriminatory, because our customers are being maximized to their benefit. Well, the FCC has sought to achieve this by reclassifying ISPs under Title II of the Communications Act, which gives the agency greater regulatory oversight. In fact, there's some talk about getting rid of really the FCC's ability to implement that type of oversight, because the states should have that type of oversight, even though, the Communications Act traverses borders. Well, the Sixth Circuit temporary stay comes only weeks after the Supreme Court overturned Chevron deference, weakening the FCC. That's what I'm talking about. Hobbling the federal government's oversight of state-related matters. So Lauren Feiner put the article together over at TheVerge.com. And it says broadband providers have since challenged the FCC's action, which is potentially more vulnerable after the Supreme Court's recent decision to strike down Chevron deference, a legal doctrine that instructed courts to defer to an agency's expert decisions, except in a very narrow range of circumstances. So, Bloomberg intelligence analyst Matt Shettleman said in a report prior to the court's ruling that he doesn't expect the FCC to prevail in court in large part due to the demise of Chevron. It's kind of clawing back. It's giving a whole lot of control over to corporations because they're the ones that pretty much dictate what an agency's expert decisions are. Because nobody within an agency is a subject matter expert unto themselves. So by their very practice, they seek outside counsel to create the policy and procedure for the, this is something that has been happening, the privatization of the government. So the panel of judges for the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals said in an order that temporarily administrative stay is warranted while it considers the merits of the broadband provider's request for a permanent stay. The administrative stay will be in place until August 5th. In the meantime, the courts requested the parties provide additional briefs about the application of the National Cable and Telecommunications Association v. Brand X Internet Services to this lawsuit. So we shall see. So I guess I don't have to modify my presentation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens with this. It seems like we've been at this for a while, trying to get this resolved.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on somewhere around 20 years or something. It's been a while. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Prime Glass. It's all about photography. We don't have that streaming as a show yet, so if you're interested in hosting a show about photography, get in touch with Mayor Watt. Send an email to mayor@ohmTown.com. So another object has been stolen from the British Museum, but this time by an artist. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Sartuzzi's short-lived heist involving a 17th century coin draws parallels to the recent scandal over the theft of thousands of items from the museum's collection.
Is this why you referenced the British Museum?
Oh my goodness. Is this a paywall? I'm going to have to log in. Doggone it. Yeah, I won't be able to even talk about it. Because I don't have the login. Sorry. I don't log in while the show's going, so sorry, folks.
Well, wait. Let me see if I can just get a little bit. Oh, interesting. Sleight of hand is the exhibit showing 2 fake coins. That's interesting. On 18 June, the Brazilian artist, I'm not sure, Sartuzzi removed the 1645 silver coin minted in Newark, England from its display case, and then carried the original and dropped it into a box for donated change.
Whoa.
So this is actually a very interesting article. That's just a little bit of it, but
interesting. Okay, well, in the future, because I loaded all of this up, but I don't go back until the show is ready, so that our responses, mine in particular, is my reaction is fully authentic. I don't really come in prepped, other than knowing that little title and the short snippet that the aggregator acquires.
Let me read one little part. It says Sleight of Hand, which is the exhibit name, he explains, is primarily concerned with mythical trickster figures and the role of magic in the, quote, social relation of money and currency, end quote. And so coins like he stole were so widely counterfeited that Parliament took control over policy, etc. So it's one of those typical, there's a message, even if you can't see it while it's happening.
A message that really isn't, it's not even like, well, maybe they have the right state of mind where it makes sense and is important, but all right, you don't want just everybody in control of the monetary system. You want it centralized so that it's the integrity of the monetary system is sound. Otherwise, you end up what has happened in the past, where a gold coin or a silver coin or whatever was getting shaved off, and people were making additional coins with the shavings. Or you had the thing, it was a concept called pieces of 8, where it was literally a coin that was broken into 8 pieces so that you could break off pieces. And it was a part of the currency exchange, but then you don't have full coins, you have little bits of coins. I don't know, there's a lot of historical context to all of this, but it seems like an art piece because they wanted it to be an art piece.
Right. It is interesting in timing with the Picasso issue.
Yeah. Who knows what's real? It's almost like this should be Reality Hacker.
Reality Hacker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. All right, let's keep going. Eventually. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Radar images suggest there's a tunnel on the moon. A relatively long cave system on the moon is a promising site for a lunar base, according to the team that identified the structure. I say aliens. So Isaac Schultz over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. This is a photo that's been making its rounds because what it seems to show is a hole punched through the crust into what could be a lava tube or some other tunnel-like structure underneath, or cave at least, because it shows light going underneath the lip of what appears to be like a little wormhole, a tunnel. It's like something dug a hole in an apple and made a hard left turn. It's pretty spectacular. I wish that there was clarity about what's in that shadow.
Oh, yeah. It's also weird because it looks like a moon. Inside
right.
moon.
Right. If you were to invert this, it would look like a moon sitting on a field of who knows what kind of, sky, right? That's an interesting observation. It's a moon on the moon. So where is this tunnel and how big is it? The tunnel is in the Mare Tranquillitatis, or a Sea of Tranquility pit. The deepest known pit on the moon. If the name is familiar to you, the Sea of Tranquility is where Apollo 11 mission landed in 1969, and we never returned. Ask yourself why. Could it have been because aliens popped up out of this little hole?
Maybe we fell into the cave. We didn't want to have that happen again.
Yeah. Then you just jump out, right? With 1/8 Earth's gravity, you just hop right back out. So the pit formed due to a lava tube collapse, or a collapse of a void structure created by tectonic processes on the moon. So there's a lot of talk about the composition of the moon and the fact that it seems like all of the craters are X meters deep, right? They don't go any deeper than a certain amount, barring these.
Right. They've also talked about like moonquakes and other, I guess, tectonic activity.
Yeah, structural type responses to whatever is going on. Well, to look for potential cave structures within the pit, researchers studied side-looking radar images taken by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Mini-RF.
Do you think that's just ground penetrating radar but turned sideways?
In space, yes, on Tuesday. So this is information that was gathered between 2009 and 2011. The team then conducted 3D radar simulations of potential geometries of the pit and its cave to determine that the brightness they saw in radar images could be due to subsurface features. So ultimately, the team determined that there is a tunnel in the pit that is between 98 feet long and 262 feet long. And the tunnel is roughly 148 feet wide and is either flat or inclined with a maximum steepness of 45 degrees. So
I think this might be the solution to the curse of Oak Island.
The gold is on the moon.
Right. I mean, that could be one of those intentionally angled pits, right?
Yeah, but if they dig just 1 inch further, it'll flood the whole channel or the whole tube. And who knows? But it might actually solve the problem, because apparently it just takes one more person to meet their demise in the money pit, and they'll find.
Right. Who's volunteering?
I volunteer as tribute on the moon. So yeah, they want to do a semi-permanent presence on the moon. Who knows what's actually going to go on? I will say that aliens say, no, you don't come here anymore. Stay off our lawn.
Well, they were pretty effective the first time, right?
Yeah, this is our cheese. Go away. Okay, I gotta go on to the next article. Next article is over on the Marvel Channel. NSA claims that it can't watch an important tape it recorded in the 1980s. The agency is sitting on a piece of computer history, but it won't release it because it doesn't have the right kind of tape player.
Okay, this is back at the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, I remember back then. So Matthew Galt over at Gizmodo.com put this article together, and the deck statement says what I do. That little snippet is what the deck statement is. There are 2 reels of old tape buried in the National Security Agency's archives that contain a landmark piece of computer science history. The moon landings. Actually, I don't know what it is. Oh my gosh. Their tapes are a recording of a lecture from computer science legend Admiral Grace Hopper. What? That is awesome. But they don't have the ability to play them back because it was recorded. Apparently, let's see here. Hopper was U.S. Navy officer and computer pioneer who helped develop Flowmatic, the first programming language that used English keywords instead of numbers. She later helped develop COBOL, which, no, I'm not going to say anything about that. A business-oriented computer language that still undergirds many computer systems, part of the whole Y2K problem. In 1982, okay. She gave a lecture at the NSA headquarters at Fort Meade. Go ahead if there was something you wanted to say.
Well, I was just going to say I'm impressed because a lot of people obviously weren't into computers at that time and must have been pretty smart.
Well, isn't this kind of impressive for more than one reason? Female computer science innovator.
She was the first female admiral, I believe.
Right.
And she was obviously making significant advancements in her field anyway.
Right. Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. So there, yeah, the United States, and I'm sure other places, have a historical context of unsung heroes doing great things but not getting great credit until much, much, much later. Grace Hopper has always been one that's stood out. In fact, let me see something. Yeah, the term computer bug was created by Grace Hopper.
Okay, now that's very interesting for more applicability to most people. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was actually a moth in her logbook. But yeah. So Ravinsky filed a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request for the tapes on October 12, 2021. 3 years later, the NSA said that there were no responsive documents, which is kind of typical non-disclosure disclosure. The NSA's own Television Center catalog, a document turned loose by FOIA in 2009, listed the tapes among the contents, and he pressed them for an explanation. So never answer without knowing the answer. The NSA's excuse: it didn't have anything to play the tapes back on, couldn't listen to them, and therefore couldn't clear them for their release, which...
Oh, because they couldn't listen to see what secrets were on there about the moon landing or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've investigated, and because we have no ability to turn on the light, we have no idea what's in that room. So we were informed that although there were some older videotapes that were potentially responsive, they're on a format that NSA no longer has the ability to view or digitize. Without being able to view them, they can't disclose them. It absolutely makes sense in that context, but the willful ignorance of not moving forward to resolve the dilemma
Before it became obsolete, right?
well, even afterward, make a public call. Hey, is there anybody that has the ability to read this format? You know, I guarantee you there are some computer aficionado out there, some fanatic of the historical record of computers, or they can reverse engineer the method for retrieving this data and digitizing it at the same time. So it says been trying to connect folks, but I'm not sure if anything concrete has or will come of it yet.
It also says that the machines that they need are potentially on eBay.
Wonderful. See, but to figure this out, NSA would have to disclose certain modes. And NSA is not in the habit of disclosing anything until they already know that it's nothing. But then again, so a cursory search on eBay revealed dozens of machines that might fit the bill. And we have found, not in our show and not us personally, but people have found, society has found weird stuff on eBay that shouldn't have been on eBay. So maybe that's what's going to happen. But in the meantime, we're done with non sequitur news. Kind of hopped around. Grace Hopper, handsome admiral. All right, y'all. We are done with non sequitur news for July 15th, 2024. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI from the future. Tell me.
Are you going to go back to the main page?
Oh, that's right. Hold on a second. Let me reboot and blink. I won't refresh. But anyway, so did they ever find out what is on those reels?
We'll never know.
I'll take that as a no. Thanks everybody for coming. If you're listening via the podcast, or you're over on YouTube, or you're over on Twitch, come back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's it. You want to say bye?
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.